Tonight on Whether or Not, we have Nature in the News stories talking about the changing characteristics of the Great Lakes in addition to wildfires in a pretty interesting part of the world for February. Also coming up on tonight's show, Jordyn and Jenna will be here with a look at both the short range and extended forecast for Pennsylvania. And Patrick Wright will have a feature on weather photography. That and more coming up right now on Whether or Not. Good evening and welcome to Whether or Not. I'm your host, Matt Hoenig.
I'm your forecaster, Jordyn Jenna.
So Jordyn, up to this point in the week, it's been fairly chilly around these parts. Can we expect any sort of warm-up this weekend?
Well, for this weekend on Saturday, we will be seeing a little bit normal temperatures, but Sunday we're going to get a little bit of cool down again.
Terrible news, unfortunately, for us warm weather lovers. We'll get to that in just a moment with Jordyn, but first, it's Nature in the News.
Over the past 20 years, characteristics of the Great Lakes have been changing significantly, even though it is not evident while looking at the surface. There has been increased amounts of mercury pollution that continues to harm the wildlife living in the body of the Great Lakes. Wildlife is not the only significant change happening in the Great Lakes. Water continues to get more acidic from the pollution driven by cars, planes, factories, farms, and power plants. As pollution increases, levels of heat-trapping carbon dioxide continue to increase as well, which is why the water is becoming more acidic. Scientists do not have much evidence that these increased values of acid in the water is harming the lakes. But what they do know is in oceans, increased acid causes harmful changes in coral reefs. The Great Lakes are overlooked because of the lack thereof funds provided by the government to support this research.
Los Angeles, California has been keeping weather records for 141 years. Since 1877, it has hit 70 degrees at least once in every single February, until this year. The National Weather Service says this could be the first February on record in which downtown Los Angeles has not reached the 70-degree mark. Multiple storms coming in off the Pacific have caused temperatures in Los Angeles to be several degrees below normal. Precipitation is running about 2 inches above normal. The cool and wet weather pattern is expected to continue into the beginning of March.
Rising sea levels are a threat to every coastline around the world. Islands are most affected by rising sea levels because they are almost all coastline. The predicted amount of rising sea level over the next 10 years is enough to make over 1,000 islands unable to be lived on. Although these rising sea levels are daunting for most islands, the Marshall Islands, located in the Western Pacific, are making land level higher as these sea levels continue to increase on the coastlines. The Marshall Islands are home to 70,000 people. Without rising the height of the land, it would only take a few feet of sea level rise for all the country's inhabitants to disappear. The Marshall Islands only sit 6.5 feet above sea level, making it mandatory to increase the height of the land. Luckily, the Marshall Islands have a few decades to figure out how to keep the land habitable.
After one of the warmest days on record for Great Britain, wildfires plagued the area just outside the city of Manchester in England. A fire started on Tuesday evening on an expansive hilly terrain, an area popular among local hikers. One incident commander said it was one of the biggest moorland fires they have ever dealt with. Thankfully, no injuries have been reported, but residents are being urged to evacuate the area. On Tuesday, high temperatures approached the 70-degree mark across Great Britain. The warmer than normal temperatures combined with gusty winds and dry conditions may have fueled those wildfires.
We've all heard the expression describing snow as a blanket covering the ground. But have you ever heard of a blanket of black snow covering the ground? Several weeks ago, residents in Russia's Kuzbass region has been sharing videos on social media of snow falling resembling the color of black coal. Police opened a criminal case against a nearby coal processing plant for pumping extensive amounts of unfiltered coal dust into the atmosphere, causing the snow to look like volcanic ash. Following the black snow incident, the region's governor announced he was temporarily closing the coal processing plant. It has been reported that the coal processing plant has a history of violating environmental regulations on pollution as a result of the lack of filters for the processing facility, allowing the dust to be pumped into the atmosphere. Lab tests show pollution was more than double the limits considered safe for people. I'm student meteorologist Jenna with your weekend forecast. On Friday, we do have those cloudy conditions for our area. Not a lot of sunshine peeking through. To the southeast of our state, we will see some snow down there with a little more to the south, some rain associated with that low. And for Saturday, more chance of there being precipitation in our area with some snow or rain possible in the afternoon associated with that low front up above. And for Sunday is when we have a higher chance of precipitation. We have this warm front with some warmer temperatures below, and above it we'll have some precipitation with some colder temperatures, giving us a little bit of wintry mix possible for Sunday with a little bit lower temperatures in our area. So for Friday, our high is 36 degrees, will be mostly cloudy. Friday night, 28 degrees, a chance of snow. Saturday, we still see normal temperatures for our area with some rain, snow likely in the afternoon, 38 degrees. And for Sunday was when our temperatures will drop a little bit with that chance of rain or snow and a high of 32. Up next is your feature with Wright on how weather affects photography.
Photography and the weather go hand in hand, either adding to the serenity of the photo or adding a challenge to capture the moment. Since photography plays such a major role in capturing the moments we cherish in our lives, it can inspire a generation with one shot and capture the beauty of the world around us. I wondered how the perfect shot can come to be. I accompanied Patrick Spurlock, a Penn State senior and practicing photographer of 5 years, on one of his recent photo shoots to see how he prepares for the weather and integrates it into his photos, especially at a moment's notice.
There's no right answer when shooting. It's kind of just you have to know with the weather, the sun, and how it can impact the brightness and all that.
There are many ways to integrate the weather into a photo shoot, depending on the style of the photography one would like to pursue. Patrick focuses primarily on people in his photos, capturing the moments and memories within their lives. When it comes to the weather for a scheduled photo shoot,
I do it if it's sunny out, if it's raining, sometimes if it fits the mood, of course, snowing, depending on the mood, but if it's lightning and all that, definitely not.
Safety for the photographer, clients, and the equipment is paramount. However, some danger is involved when going to the limits for the perfect shot. It is recommended to have real expectations for any gear, such as a rain cover. Remember, most things are water resistant, not waterproof.
The rain, it can get a little tough there because you don't want to get your camera soaked. I've done it a few times, but it's not my favorite. I like to usually shoot in sunny weather or like cloudy weather. That's my type of vibe, but cloudy is nice because it's not so like direct sunlight, but sunny is nice because obviously like you have it, but like depending on the time of the day, it can be too much for what you're doing.
The best times Patrick recommends for photos are in the evening and the morning in what is known as the golden hour and blue hour, which occur 1 hour before and after sunrise and sunset. At the time of the golden hour, sunlight in the sky has a reddish tint and tends to be softer an hour after sunrise and 1 hour before sunset. When it comes to the blue hour, which is the opposite of the golden hour and therefore occurs 1 hour before sunrise and 1 hour after sunset, the light is evenly diffused and not as direct, impacting the amount of light allowed through the camera lens.
You always just gotta know how much sunlight's coming down, like if it's cloudy or too bright, because that, like, you'll know, like, if you have to, like, change your settings, like the ISO or the aperture and all that. Kind of just have to test the waters with it. I mean, every day is a little different.
The key thing is every day is different, especially with the weather. With that change comes the challenge for a photographer to explore new ways to capture the world around us, which usually leads to some of the most amazing pictures the world will ever see.
Sometimes last minute the weather changes instantly, so it's hard to like predict. So you kind of have to just wing it sometimes if you think it will work or not.
For Whether or Not, I'm Patrick Wright.
And now for your extended forecast, I'm here with you. For our weekend, we will see some normal temperatures, but that's not necessarily the case for next week. For our weekend recap, though, let's look at these normal temperatures. 38 on Friday. We do have that sunshine peeking through with a low of 28 for the night. Saturday is when we will begin to see some more precipitation chances, so you're going to want to make sure that you're carefully driving outside. We do have those icy conditions possible with that rain or snow chance, especially in the afternoon. The same story goes for Sunday. Spring break is heading out as Friday starts, so we do want to make sure as we're traveling home that we have safe conditions. It will be wet, there is rain, and there is snow likely. As we head into next week, though, it's a little bit different story. So look, we have that sunshine peeking through most of the week, especially in the beginning, mostly sunny skies on Monday. But look at our temperatures. They are way below average, almost 15 degrees below average. So we will have that return of the cold.
So, Jordyn, it looks like the month of March will be coming in like a lion in terms of temperatures, at least.
Yes, we will be seeing some lower than average temperatures next week, but we do have that sunshine that will be peeking through.
So if I can't get my warm weather, I guess I'll have to settle for some sunshine.
Yes.
Good news, Jordyn. Thanks very much for that. Speaking of March coming in like a lion, our Weather Whiz Quiz question had to do with the month of March. What is the most amount of snow ever recorded on a single day during March in State College? Was it A, 15.3 inches, B, 19.8 inches, C, 26.6 inches, or D, 30.1 inches? If you guessed C, then you are tonight's lucky winner. On March 2nd, 1994, a whopping 26.6 inches of snow was recorded here in State College over a single 24-hour period. The storm as a whole strengthened as it traveled up the East Coast, with central Pennsylvania and upstate New York receiving the most snow from this storm. When the snow was melted down, it equated to 2.9 inches of liquid precipitation.
The second highest amount of snow that fell here in State College during one day occurred just 1 year earlier, in March of 1993, when 25 inches of snow fell in a single day.
Jordyn, it's been a very quiet winter so far, so thankfully in the extended forecast, no snow to talk about whatsoever. I think many of us will approve of that.
Yes.
So that's all the time we have on tonight's show. I'm your host, Matt Hoenig.
I'm your forecaster, Jenna.
Have a great weekend, everyone.